If you have absolutely nothing to worry about, if your problems amount to 20 minutes waiting before your car is taken in for a service, if the boomers are right about the importance of expensive coffee in your life, congratulations! Your climb to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs will allow you to achieve your fullest potential in an endless journey of personal growth and fulfillment. It will also allow you to get irrationally angry about the pettiest stuff, like, for example, the entertainment industry. Many good gigabytes have been used to crap on it, it's serious business. Sometimes it's done fairly, sometimes it's engagement bait, and thanks to the internet, the phrase everyone's a critic has never felt more alive and healthy, as you can clearly tell by my recent output. Still, as I was trundling through IMDb to get some more information for my video on Shakedown, I got served their summer watch guide, and realized nothing in there seemed particularly interesting. Things started as well as they could with the Fall Guy remake. I thought it was rather a desperate idea, revive the favorite 1980s show of Nobody and turn it into a summer blockbuster. And it seems like I was with the majority on that one if the box office results are anything to go by. At least when Baywatch was revived, prospective audiences had the mental image of Pamela Anderson running in a one piece to put it over. Going Down rebuilt the standard glut of sequels for your enjoyment and the studio's positive results in their Q3 earnings call. There's the Bad Boys sequel, because the last film actually did quite well, Despicable Me 4, because all of that Minions merca ain't going to sell itself, and Inside Out 2, because it's been 4 years since Pixar has won an Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. All standard fare, I thought. Right until the point where I scroll past Maxine, which may be the thing I'm most excited about in this entire list, and I see Twisters. Twisters! For those of you who make the majority of my audience, Twisters is the sequel to the 1996 film Twister, in which Helen Hunt and the late Bill Paxton play the supporting cast for fantastic special effects, the best looking Dutch ram you'll ever see, and the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. It was a big hit, big enough that it took another big budget summer blockbuster with extremely memorable special effects to keep it from being the highest grossing film of '96. Come to think of it, that also got a cash-in sequel decades later. Between the two, I really did prefer Twister. I still like it enough that, staring at the image on the summer guide, I thought, man, I hope they make a good movie this time. Yep, much as it would presumably drive that sweet engagement, this is not going to be one of those common and commonly boring, why doesn't Hollywood innovate any more videos? Sorry about that, there's plenty of those around anyway, and at this point, still complaining that Hollywood doesn't innovate is a bit like complaining that MTV doesn't play music videos. But that reality TV is going to be the downfall of quality television, so played out that the complaining itself is now perceived as ancient. You couldn't make it more passé by throwing in a shooting stars meme. IMO. That innovation in mainstream entertainment is buried under a veritable tsunami of extruded entertainment is neither new nor particularly difficult to explain. In fact, I've just done so. Successful precedent, valuable continuity in lucrative merchandising contracts, critical acclaim in award ceremonies, and we didn't need an air of arrogant smugness about film taste to do so. It did help though, it did. Entertainment is a business, always has been, and while the business is indeed filled with people who feel real passion for it, unless that passion aligns with corporate interest and can be allowed to blossom within the boundaries that the money people have established, you won't find much of it in places like the IMDb Summer Watch Guide. Look for it in indie fests, obscure YouTube videos, ask your friend with a man bun that claims it's really different from all of the other man buns, or the one that only gets their vegetables from a sustainable commune that's a 3-hour round trip by car. You'll probably hate the results, but they'll serve as a starting point for your own search. Twisters, on the other hand, is perfect for the guide. Its predecessor was extremely popular and had a decent enough run on cable. Crucially, the main selling point of Twister is in its title. There is a plot in Twister. I seem to recall a divorce and some rival tornado chasers and a movie theater that apparently really wanted to tempt fate and... Oh, the trash can with aluminum cans, that's it. Really, all of these things are in function of one thing and one thing only. Show the really cool CGI Twisters. So as long as you still have people with an interest in those, the most you're gonna get in terms of outrage if you botch the plot of the movie is people complaining that it's not as good as the original. If nothing else, the Twisters will be even more impressive and destructive given the evolution of computer-generated imagery since '96. The plot surrounding it may actually be somewhat memorable too. Sure, we're changing a writer from the guy who wrote Jurassic Park to the guy who directed Top Gun Maverick, but we're changing directors from Sean de Bont, whose career was tragically crippled in a boat crash, to Lee Isaac Chung, whose most notable work has been his semi-autobiographical film, and directing an episode of The Mandalorian. Good movie to give him and see what happens when given a much larger budget and crew. Especially since Twisters is a sequel in as much as it shares a title, takes place in the same universe, and you're going to see some continuity bits here and there with the original. You know, like The Equalizer. Which brings us to another thing about the business that gets beaten to death by people whose largest source of content is claiming that this time, really for real, Hollywood is dead. Risk aversion. A perfectly legitimate concern if you're dumping $200 million on something. You could take the new idea and work it from scratch, or you could append it to something that's already done money in the past and suggest that people use the setting or characters for their own vision. A quick way to get lazy self-inserts and water down whatever goodwill that property has on the common populace? Yes, absolutely. A way to reduce risk and create valuable engagement, the currency on which everything is made nowadays? Also yes. And it's clearly working. I wouldn't have sat down and wrote this script if it wasn't for the fact that it's called Twisters. Without a connection to the original, tenuous though that connection may be, it'll be just another disaster movie whose main notable feature is that it surprisingly doesn't star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It also benefits from being released on a summer where things don't seem to be hitting on theaters. As I'm writing this, the worst Memorial Day weekend in decades just happened, as Furiosa limped into the top spot with disappointing returns. Fighting it for the scraps is Chris Pratt and his endless quest to voice every single Gen X and Millennial Kids character that exists, and from there on you may as well stop counting. The more successful stories seem to be in the subscription services where, if nothing else, everyone has already paid their ticket. And there are a couple of things that are still on release that may do some numbers, like the aforementioned Animation 1-2 Punch, Maxine, and the one I'm hoping actually hits hard, Beverly Hills Cop Not 4. Between a reluctance to tread too close to the original, a writer-director combo that should balance well in story and action, CGI getting better and reinforcing the need for some steak among the sizzle, I think Twisters will be a good movie. If it is, Lee Isaac Chung's career directing major movies could take off to more ambitious and, perhaps, more critically acclaimed fare. And if it isn't, nobody is going to be particularly heartbroken. I'll check it out, though I already have a very petty negative. This time, that pickup truck looks like shit.